Hey guys, my name's Ari. You might recognize me from the Saints TV podcast, and I'm here to deliver a brand new series to the Saints TV YouTube channel where every week, essentially, I'm going to predict the 23 I think are going to be picked, the ins, the outs, give an update on the injury report. Obviously, this week, round 2 against Geelong, Saturday night at Marvel. Before I get into it, make sure you let us know your thoughts in the comments. Do you agree with me? Do you disagree? Who are you putting in? Who are you taking out? But yeah, let's get straight into it. So, as you can see on the screen here, 4 ins, 4 outs. I'm still not entirely certain about some of them. But yeah, before we talk about it, let's talk about the injury report that just came out an hour before I started recording this. Mitch Owens and Liam Henry are tests, so they may play. I think Mitch will play. He came very close last week, and I think they just wanted to, go on the side of precaution and didn't pick him, so I think he's pretty much a certainty. Liam Henry, probably touch and go, but I think it is more likely that he will play rather than not. Max King, Dan Butler have been ruled out for at least this week, probably, I want to say one other week, an extra week after this, which is disappointing, but, it is what it is. Can't do much about it at this stage. And the other ins, let's go over those. So, I do think Hugh Boxall will debut. Obviously, we're not sure where Ross's head's at with the mixture of blending youth and senior players. But I think after just the terrible performance in Adelaide on Sunday, that Hugh Boxall, after a huge preseason, training the house down, I know it's cliche to say, but truth be told, he was, and that showed in the 2 practice games where, he was really impressive. And I think Zach Jones, he's going to be good midfield depth for us this year, but I think it's time for probably Boxall to come in, show us what he's got. If we had one on the weekend, Jones probably would have kept his spot, but we were so far off of it. I think we need a mix up, and I would love to see Boxall come in. It's hard to say that he will because I'm not sure I can see Ross doing that. So maybe that's more of an optimistic pick from me, but I really love to see Boxall. I'm going to lock it in and say that Boxall will debut. The other in is Liam Stocker, probably the bloke who, outside of Boxall, was the most stiff not to get picked. The reason I think he comes in is because we went into Sunday with 3 tolls, Shoalmaker, Cordy, and Wilkie, obviously, because Adelaide has one of the tallest forward lines in the competition. They have Thilthorpe, Fogarty, and Taylor Walker all playing, and so we needed an extra toll to back up Wilkie. I don't think we need that this week. We're coming up against Shannon Neal and Jeremy Cameron. I think Wilkie goes to Cameron, and then one of Cordy or Shoalmaker will go to Shannon Neal. I'll get to that into a sec. But yeah, Liam Stocker, I think, is going to take the position of one of those players because, I think he's just going to be picked on the merit of team balance each week. Unless he can really cement a spot in the side, which he just hasn't yet been able to do. He's proven that when we plug him in, he can play a role really well. And I think that's what he's going to do for us this week. So I expect him to come into the side. So let's get onto it then. Zane Cordy or Ari Shoalmaker. This is the one that I just can't possibly split because, it's Ari Shoalmaker's become quite a contentious player in the fan base, I think. The way I see it is that, when the ball is in his hand, and we talked about this on the podcast, when the ball is in his hand, there's no problem. He has a beautiful kick. He uses the ball really well. He makes good decisions. And I have no issue with that. The issue is when he's one-on-one defensively, I have very little confidence that he's going to win that one-on-one, even that he can equalize the contest. So defensively, he's got a long way to go in that aspect of his game. So did he prove? Because I thought he played okay on the weekend. He didn't light the world on fire, but he certainly played his role. And I thought defensively, yes, it wasn't even close to where it should be. But I reckon I've seen some improvement from him in previous seasons, which could potentially lead to him keeping his spot. Now Zane Cordy is just the complete opposite. When the ball is in his hand, you're hoping he does nothing more than a 15-meter chip sideways just to get it out. But what he does offer is he'll play his role defensively very well. He will at least equalize most one-on-ones. And yeah, I can see Ross going with the experience here. But I would say Ari did play better than Cordy on the weekend. Maybe Sainers disagrees with me out there, but that's how I see it. But I'm splitting hairs here because it's very hard to see who is Ross personally is going to favour. Is Ari up to playing on a Shannon Neal? I don't know. Probably not. So I guess Ross will go with Cordy, but this one is a tough call for me. So that one's to be seen. I'm not brave enough to make the call just yet. Maybe I'm giving Shoalmaker a bit too much leeway, but that's just how I feel. Who else is coming out? Liam O'Connell. Yeah, he tried really hard on the weekend, and I really appreciated his efforts. He's a tough player. He's shown that in the prackies, but I think he needs to chip away at the VFL and work on his game a bit more down there. It wasn't, despicable by any stretch of the imagination, but I think he needs to make room for one of the 4 players that I've listed as coming in. Zach Jones, I already mentioned. I think a Hugh Boxall, Liam Henry takes that spot. He really didn't do much for us or really offer anything for us on the weekend, and I think we know Steele and McRae are going to be in that midfield. If you put Jones in there with them, it's very one-paced, very one-tone, and you're getting more of the same results. I think we want a Boxall to come in and shake it up. I like what Garcia is offering, and he's going to keep his spot because of that. So that's that. And then Harry Boyd. I think this one is probably the most obvious call. Mitch Owens comes back in, fills that role in the forward line. Mitch Owens comes in and fills that role in the forward line, so Marshall can go and play full-time ruck, and Harry Boyd makes way for that. So, yeah, what do we think, Sam? So maybe some contentious calls there, but that's where I'm going. Just to go over some players that were probably also in contention that I just don't think we're going to make room for. Isaac Keeler, a lot of talk about him. I'll go through it when I rush through the team at the end of the video here, but I think Wood will probably spend some more time forward this week because Ross said in his press conference he really liked the look of Wood up forward. And obviously Owens is returning, and I just think that leaves no room for Keeler. Travaglia, oh man, we could do a whole video about this. In short, the situation's very upsetting. He's the only draft pick in the top 17 last year that either didn't play or didn't play because they were injured. He was available and didn't play. And I think the fans, we deserve some transparency about this because really, we've got no idea what's going on. Why is he not playing? Is it load management? Is he injured? Why is our pick 9, who, the whole narrative about our club is youth, why is he not playing? I don't know. And no answers have come to the forefront. So, I don't want to pick him in the team yet because we have no idea what's going on, to put it simply. Some other players who might be deemed lucky to hold their spots, Anthony Caminiti. I think simply we can't play without him because our forward line is still decimated. No King, no Sharman. So we don't have any other tools. You got Mitch Owens sort of playing as a tool, but in reality, he's not one. Mason Wood will go down there and provide a contest for us, which is great. But we have no other options. Again, I could probably do a whole video about this, but Tim Membry, if he had stayed at the club, I can tell you he would be playing in that forward line, and Caminiti would probably be out, which I think he probably should be, but when you look at the team balance, he just has to play, which is what it is. Angus Hastie was subbed out, but yeah, I think that was more for team balance on the day. I think he's going to hold his spot. Hunter Clark came on. I thought he was serviceable, offered a lot more than Jones did, and I think he'll slot into the 22, and yeah, he showed enough. Bradley Hill, this is a big one. A lot of people talking about him. Look, it was one of the worst, probably the worst Bradley Hill game I've ever seen play. I love what Bradley Hill offers, as a leader, as a senior player, and of course he's one of the best wingmen in the comp at his best. The weekend was not a good depiction of that at all, but he will get another chance. I cannot see Ross dropping him at this stage. However, if he offers that a performance like that up again, I think his spot will be in serious trouble. So to go over the 23 to wrap up this video from the full back line, as you can see on screen here, we've got Liam Stocker, Callum Wilkie, Jimmy Webster. On the half back line, Nazaya Wangani Malira, and then that centre half back position, still can't decide, Cordy or Shoalmaker, really depends how you see that one, and then Jack Sinclair to round that out. On the 2 wings, we got Darcy Wilson and Brad Hill. Half forward line, we've got Max Hall, Mason Wood, who I said, I think he's going to spend some time up there this week, and Mitch Owens coming in. Full forward line, Liam Henry, Anthony Caminiti at full forward, and Jack Higgins. And then in the midfield, Roll Marshall returning to his primary position in the ruck, which I think will be for the best. Jack Steele, Jack McRae, Hugo Garcia. Rounding it out on the bench, Marcus Windegger, Hunter Clark, Angus Hastie, Ryan Burns, and substitute Hugh Boxall. I don't know who's going to be the sub. I just put him in there because honestly, it's hard to pick. Could be Hastie, could be Burns, could be Clark. There's plenty of candidates it could be. And then emergencies, Harry Boyd, whoever doesn't get picked out of Cordy or Shoalmaker, and Zach Jones in case, we have a amid go down. But yeah, guys, that's about it for this first trial run of the best 23 prediction, I guess we'll call it. I don't know. But yeah, thanks to Jakey for organising this one. And yeah, as I said, let us know in the comments. Do you agree with me? Do you disagree? I'd love to hear it. So until next week, Sainers, make sure you listen to the podcast. Tune in to Saints TV Weekly, all that good stuff, preview, review, and talk soon.